The ADP report, Steve, gave a good amount of pause for yesterday's session, yet the market still rallied to all-time highs. At what point right now is the business community going to say, hey, this is okay for us to get back to work and start hiring again? What needs to happen either in the economy or out of Washington, D.C. policymakers?
Yeah, well, good morning, Dom. The ADP report doesn't seem to correlate with all the official reports, as you said. But you do have a confluence of events here. You've got a federal hiring freeze, you've got an immigration crackdown, and you have a situation where the private sector is sitting on eggshells, walking on eggshells here, waiting for these trade deals to either happen or not. And in the meantime, you've got these tariffs, which are driving up costs. So CEOs are taking a very cautious approach. They're not hiring. Everything's on hold. They're saying, just hold here. But the good news is they learned their lesson in COVID. They're not doing big layoffs. You hear of a few here and there, but in total, they're not doing layoffs because they're hoarding their talent. They've learned that once you get rid of your talent, it's very hard to get it back. So everybody's sitting here in neutral, waiting for these trade deals to come through. Now, the Vietnam situation was very positive because you see some movement in this. The UK had a verbal deal. But then you go and you rattle things with Canada. And so you see CEO confidence and consumer confidence go up and down, and bounce around based entirely on what the news is on tariffs and trade in that day.
Steve, what exactly are CEOs saying about the developments in Washington, D.C. with regard to the big, beautiful bill? We heard Robert Teeter at Silvercrest say earlier he expects a wave of growth to be unleashed by the proposed legislation. Do you feel as though the business community echoes that same sentiment?
Yeah, I think the business community, can see through the rhetoric, the political rhetoric, and it's very strong on both sides, as you know and have reported. So the issue is that if you didn't pass this bill or an extension of the cuts, you would have this massive increase. If you had that increase, it would create a drag on the economy. Now, the tariffs are already creating that drag on the economy, so that would create possibly a recession. So the fact that this bill seems to be moving through gives some level of certainty to the tax base, the cost structure, the incentives for business. It keeps moving a little bit, but there's relative positive attitude towards this because it looks like there's some certainty here. Now, if we can get through the tariffs, then you've got cost certainty. And I think to your first question, then I think the economy takes off because CEOs can finally say, okay, now we know the rules of the game. Now we know what our costs are going to be, and we can finally invest with confidence.